But what I like doing on this thing is just giving just a snippet. That makes sense. But anyway, whatever you feel like you need to share.
I think it's more of like I felt like I haven't given credit to a lot of people.
Okay, no problem.
You know, so Giggz has like been an integral part of my music changing, because in 2015 my whole sound changed because now my quality went up big time. That's why even anything Kwame did after that was just because now he became part of the team.
The mastering guy.
Yes. Then Zach, because of the visual parts, especially with artwork and everything, because when people go online and they're searching for the music, that visual representation is what pulls them in. He's really been that guy that's given me, like, I feel like an upper hand. You know, and he always tells me, man, when it comes to your work, I'm heavily invested in it. And I appreciate it, because Giggz is the same way. It's like, your work, man, your work, I take it as if it's mine. And then now Jay is the guy who records everything that I do.
Jay is now your connect over here.
That's my connect. That's my lawyer. That's my, studio engineer. That's the guy who sends me the files. That's my co-producer. And he's the guy who's eased the work process for me. Because I think the first time I sent Kwame to record over there was around 2015. And he recorded Akiwewe with him. And, I told him what I was expecting, and he
came
through. But that comes from, him seeing what I do and me mentoring him, to now him teaching me stuff. Now it's the other way around. I guess the teacher is becoming the student and the other way around. So, and then, who else? There's Festus. Festus has been that guy that without him, I don't think, because one thing I don't like is, like, if I'm working on a project, I don't want to produce everything. I want to be the guy that will go and look for producers that would fit your sound. So he's been an integral part of, like, my sound. And we are close, we are similar, but also very different.
Yeah.
Because I call him the groove master. He's like, his drums are just insane. So sometimes he sends me music, and I tell him, I want the drums, you can keep the music. It's like, you can have them. And then a song like that ends up being like Slow Motion from my latest album. I didn't even talk about the albums, the ones that I put out. Yeah.
Slow motion, baby, unavyosakata, mina kutaka, you know that I'm into you. Slow motion, baby, unavyosakata, mina kutaka, you know that I'm into you. There's this thing I seen you do, make me fall in love with you. Kuna vile una move, would you let me come and follow through? It's your physique, it's your smile, you got something I ain't seen in a while. Reaching out, hoping we can speak if you're down. What's your style? I'm asking, mumble VP is how. Your girlfriend's with it, the gang with it. Come and hang different, I swear you're getting me in my feelings. I don't mean to be in y'all business, but let me still shorty for a minute. I'm just trying to vibe with her, face some soup on her waist, need chupa now. Her brain gon' bank, now she ain't a loser now. Plus you know how to move that thing in a way that a losing man is S to the. Sio lazima niseme, seme. Sio lazima niseme. You know that I'm into you. Sio lazima niseme, seme. Sio lazima niseme. You know that I'm into you.
Flashback zile siku na kitu, tukipiga lapo kumtaa machipo mwitu, tukikata maji kwa pub tuko mavitu, nikikuta vitu kwa tab ngware mapitu, argument za mademu wako na see through station wanadai utoboke niko.
So I feel like I might have to come back. But then guys like Dilly. Dilly, and we've met a couple of times, but Dilly has been a guy who's really made work with Jivu very easy. And Jivu are some amazing guys who are writing like amazing stuff, and we're heavily invested in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's me, Giggz, Festus, Dilly, and Jay. So we said whatever we're going to support those guys, because if there's a group that I feel that can cross over, and this is me, my opinion, they're the ones.
When you say crossover, you mean from?
Like globally. And
Jivu a bit here.
Yeah. And fitting here and fitting outside over there.
Yeah.
Because I played their music to a couple of guys that have come to the studio. And I remember I played it for this guy who I've been working with. And he's
a Mexican?
No.
Yeah. Just some other guy.
Yeah, an African American guy, but we haven't recorded anything. But we've been working on, we've been planning. I've sent him music, but we've never recorded anything. And he was like, "Wow, it's like these guys are Kenyans." I was like, "Yes." And how they marry English and Swahili, it's very relatable too.
So can we expect some Jivu coming out soon?
Oh yeah, we're working on the album.
Nice.
And then I'm working on an EP.
First of all, even before the EP that you're working on, tell me a little bit about your own album.
My own album. So I did 2 albums.
Yeah.
So the first album, I did an album with, I decided I wanted to do an all ladies album. And remember, I was introduced to Ayrosh by a guy called Kibali. I don't want to forget about him because he's very important in my growth. And also, like Kinamavo, Kafugo, because these are guys that have helped me. Like, remember I was saying networking is important and having a relationship out with these people outside of the people that introduced you. So I've been able to maintain those relationships even without going through the initial personal contact. And so Kibali is the one who introduced me to, he's the one who pushed Ayrosh to come towards me. And he's like, "You need to go with this guy." And then also he kept on telling me about a lady called Ythera. So
he pushed you that because of the Kwame sound that you had done.
Because of what we were doing with Kwame.
The Kikuyu whole vibe.
Yes, because
Ayrosh is like a more urban version of
yes. Kwame is a more soulful.
Yeah.
Ayrosh is a more urban, and people will view them differently.
By stringing me along. Korodiane kamodo gakegu dikia kwa ilio na idhali mwe igelekili ovye kulia Wahadiyaga. Now they call me Casanova. They know I can't stay over. By morning it's over. My heart is a nomad and they never see me next time. Though we had the best time, my flood game is glorious and I'm a little bit famous. Jokeria, keria wadu tirekoro. Horeria, daya kogoroka. Jokeria, keria wadu tiretobo. Horeria. Neke odo unfamiliar. Takuona gaigua kenyilia. Dalili kanoria. Wana nyamaria. Todo tuile mesilia.
And then so Kibali pushed him my way. So Kibali has connected me with Ayrosh and Ythera. So when I was doing my album, Ythera, I shared this idea initially with Kibali, and Kibali was like, "Oh yeah, I know a couple of artists," and that was an idea.
And you're doing your album DJ Khaled style. You produce.
Yes.
You're not singing or anything on the album. You're just a producer. It's your project, but DJ Khaled basically.
Yeah. Oh, DJ Khaled. So what I told what's his name, Kibali, which actually the initial idea was 2 years ago, but it didn't happen until 2 years later. So when I came and I mentioned it to, but by this time, because Ayrosh and Ythera had already done a song that I produced called Love, Respect, Repeat It.
You look so fine, you got me in a trance. From your vibe there's no defense. You're straight fire. I claim you in advance. My heart is on the line. You're so extra, baby. Highs of love, they may confiscate it. Try to keep it simple, baby. Bad vibes may try to complicate it. And you are a movie in my mind now. And you, I got to get you right now. Got to get you right now. Love me, respect me, repeat it. Oh, yeah. Love me, respect me, repeat it. Love me, respect me, repeat it. Love me, respect me, repeat it. Bandits, don't give love to the bandits.
They, so I'd be really in contact with Ythera, and I told her, and she's like, oh yeah, Kibali had mentioned it. I was like, yeah, we had talked to Kibali about it. He's like, yeah. I was like, can you get me some ladies? He's like, yeah, I know many. He's like, okay. So me, I come, set up everything. Next thing you know, she's brought like 11
chicks.
Yeah. Sero, Mario. Okay, I only knew one. Ythera and one of them called Mariolive, because we had taught together at Music Culture Foundation. So the other ones I met them that day. So there's Mariolive, there's Mariel Page. There's Sero, there's Miss Kuria, there's Mela, there's Wabi, there's Zaituni, there's Priska Ojuang.
Oh, I know Priska.
Yeah.
Finally, I know one. Yeah.
Ythera, and then there's who's the other one? And Miss Chep. So I think four of them: Ythera, Mela, Chep, and Chep are part of Wanavokali. The group Wanavokali.
Yeah.
So what I did is like, come to the studio, and I set up a whole day, because I told them, they're like, okay, you're gonna send us beats. I'm like, no, we're going to create from scratch. So I told them, just come with an idea. If you have an existing song, come, we'll build something around it. So they all came one by one. Mary Olive already had the piano down. She had her own idea. We started with her idea, but we eventually ended up, the song that was featured on the album was my idea. It was my piano.
You morphed it.
No, we created two different songs. So the other one is hers now.
I get it.
is keeping me down. I'm falling.
Meryl was the first single that I put out, and the song is called Ythera. And she came in. When she came in, I just programmed drums, and she's like, "Oh, I like that." Then I started playing chords, and she started singing, and the song went from 2 words to a whole song.
Kikitem kata paro ni anyalo we. Kikitem kata paro ni anyalo we. Kiwa kenda gombi kainta kenda mani be mox monangisi kimadwaro bombi. You need to sit down for this. Sweetie now, beloved Baba now, tell him how you found the one. Tell him how many cows you give for the love of your life. 'Cause I want to be your wife. Say that you love me before my mama and my aunties, till they give you the blessing. If they ask you, tell them why I'm yours. I had him walking your katapara. Had a nanny walking your katawara. Had a nima werki ponmoro. Imanyisika wono. I'm yours. Jaherana, herana, herana. Forever and ever. Jaherana, herana, herana. May your love never be put asunder. Oh, Juliet, can you be my king? And I won't have to fear for your hurt. I will be your queen, and I will wipe your tears when you hurt. Just tell me your location, I will plan the occasion.
By the time we were done, I knew what needed to be added. So that's where like people like in Amavo come in, where they introduced me to someone like Benja.
Yeah,
So I told Benja to come the next session. Benja comes the next session, we record the guitars for Ythera, but Priska is there, and we're about to do her song. So Benja ends up staying and playing guitars on that song.
The girl that she was, more than a force in a parallel universe. Round of applause, she's the force. Better reckon it. And the world couldn't stop 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 it. On with the voice, she had a choice. Stay big or go home. Go home. Better reckon it. And the world couldn't stop it. And the world couldn't block it. And the world couldn't stop it. And the world couldn't block it. Then she dropped them low. Did her want to flow, even though she didn't know what tomorrow may hold. Hands in the air, to her worries in the air.
And then we did that with a couple of songs, and some of them had existing songs. So like Mela came with a guitarist called Marcus, and Zaituni came with a guitarist called Anariko. And these are amazing, like I'm in my like access. That's one thing I don't have in the US as much.
Yeah.
Instrumentalist. Here is instrumentalist galore. Like right and left, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So we recorded, so Mela comes with Marcus. They have a song. They sing it. I'm like, yeah, it's nice. It's too slow. Can we speed it up a little bit and then we make it in this direction? They're like, okay, let's see. At first they were unsure. By the time we were finishing, like Mela was just, she was in a high, and I was so happy because to me, that means like someone
done a
has,
good job.
yes, and someone has embraced what you've done.
Nilikuamini kifala na zangu siri, ukanifahamu sana na nikajua nina rafiki wa kweli wa dhati. Sonora hivi wivunja imani, semana semana na mwajiita marafiki, nikigeuka wanisema pale, kanidunga mgongoni, maneno kama kisu, semana semana na mwajiita marafiki. Mwajiita marafiki.
So the last, I do that. We go. Miss Kuria was there when we were doing. She came. We did her session, and then she came for other sessions where she was even background vocalist. So what I did, I made sure some of them came at different times so that they could sing BGVs in other songs. Because the whole idea is just to work all together. So like Wabi came in. She was pregnant. Didn't say anything. She just told me, just play. Okay. I'm like, anything? She's like, yeah, anything. I start playing, just listening, and then she starts singing. I'm like, yeah, okay, I like that. Then I played, like a different chord progression that's very, like I was like, I'm gonna break the rules. And I just went this way. And she followed. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good song.
You fly me to the moon and back. When you hold my hand and blow my mind, you are more than I could ever ask. Wewe si jamaa wa kawaida. Peleka moyo wangu pole pole baby, moyo wangu pole. Na hilo penzi lako tamu baby, penzi lako tamu. Jo moyo wangu chonda chonda baby, moyo wangu chonda. Sepeleka moyo wangu pole pole baby, moyo wangu pole. Kesho na milele, dero igande waku, dero igande de waku wewe jo.
So Ythera was the last one. She's the one who hooked me up with everybody, but she was the last person to finish the song. She made sure everybody else was done before we focused on her song.
Yo.
And that's why she's one of my favorite, not only musicians, but even as a person. She's one of the best, she's one of the best A&Rs in, out there. I see what she's doing with Wana Vocali and also what she did with my project, and I told her, I will look for you anytime if I have a major project. You'll be the one that's telling me, get this one. And whatever person you tell me, I will trust you.
Yo.
Yeah.
Stand up, you're a queen. Someone worthy to be seen. Big heart, big skin. A supernatural being.
Go and make your money moves, mama. Hustle hard, no time for drama. Show the world what you're really made of. Shine your light and lead the way. Yeah, yeah. Ni wakati wa kusikiza
Hey, dude, you know what? Your story just shows me your relationship building is insane.
I hope so.
No, I'm serious. Like I'm listening to you. Even when I'm telling you what's your part in shot, you're just still bigging up all the people who...
I have to, because I haven't gotten to where I have by myself. Like if I tell you like what my bro and my wife and my sister-in-law and my friends. So like when we were doing Ayrosh's EP, you know, like I printed CDs, you know. So I was supposed to come with them. They didn't arrive on time. So I left. And my friend, I told my friend, you know, when the CDs come in, ship them to me. Like, okay. So I asked him how much it was. Like, no, that's my gift to you. And our staff was like almost 30,000 to ship it here. It's like, that's my gift to you. They know what I do. They know how much I've invested, to a point like when I won the Cafe Ngoma Awards.
Dude, you're just gonna leave that out. Oh, it's me.
Yeah, so when I won the Cafe Ngoma Awards,